Welcome to my 5th week of 10 in Sofia, Bulgaria. During week 3, I was able to take multiple day trips outside of the city, and then during week 4, I spent my entire week in Sofia. So let's see what week 5 brings. And what do we have here? Something tells me this is not OSHA compliant. During my 10-week stay in Sofia, I stayed in an 18-bed co-ed hostel dorm. And it was definitely as uncomfortable as it sounds, but it was only $8 per night, and it was definitely an experience. Well, I am currently in my 5th week of 10 in Sofia, Bulgaria. It is a beautiful Saturday. I've got my cheap pizza. Both of these big slices were under $4. Don't judge me, I'm very hungry. I'm actually on my way to the Central Market today. There goes the tram. A few weeks ago, when Vlad and I went searching for the Central Market, we thought that maybe it was connected to the women's market and that they were the same thing, but it turns out they're not, so let me go check it out. The women's market in Sofia was an outdoor market with over 100 years of history that I really enjoyed visiting on multiple occasions during my time in Sofia. And while I had high hopes that the Central Market would be equally enjoyable, I was actually shocked when I walked inside and it was essentially just a really nice supermarket. I didn't realize it at the time because it's not like they had huge signs advertising it or anything, but underneath the ground floor, you could go downstairs and see some Roman ruins, which is not surprising because everywhere you looked within Sofia, you could find Roman ruins, and I just loved that aspect of my 10-week journey there. In my week 2 video, someone accused me of intentionally trying to make Sofia look bad, and I guess they thought I was being a bit too critical. And while I have no problem whatsoever criticizing communism as a political ideology, any criticism that I give to the aesthetic of Sofia really is out of endearment, and I most definitely have a fondness for both the city of Sofia and the country of Bulgaria. And I've said it before, but it's worth saying again, if I wanted to see the same things I have seen my entire life, I could just stay home. So I love Sofia, Bulgaria, raggedy old sidewalks and all. This wee shop really caught my attention because I thought that maybe it could be considered a communist era kiosk, which were pop-up shops that sold basic necessities. But when I think of the communist era kiosks, I typically think of them as somewhat makeshift, but also standalone structures. And speaking of communist era kiosks, I simply could not resist getting a photography book filled with these wonderful structures. As you can imagine, not every day of my 10 weeks in Sofia was filled with exciting and touristy adventures. I do work remotely, so that's something that you don't see me filming. Also, there were quite a few rainy days and days where I just decided to chill at the hostel. But even on days where I was taking it a bit easy, that does not mean that I was not attempting to immerse myself in the local culture, and it's more than likely that I was also making plans for other things within the country that I could see, visit, and learn about. So, a few weeks prior to me even flying to Sofia, Bulgaria, I was taking a look at a map of the country, just trying to get a feel for the different cities and the layout of the country. And I saw that there is a city called Montana. And Montana is one of my favorite states in the United States. It's where I spent last summer. It's where I met my little brother, Vlad, and I knew that I just had to go check out this city called Montana. So I'm gonna get a break from Sofia. Today I will be taking a train to Montana and spending 2 nights there. I even have my Montana sweatshirt on to celebrate. I'm a little bit nervous about the train journey because I do have some transfers and my ticket is 100% in Bulgarian. No translations on the ticket. So hopefully I can figure this out and enjoy some time in Montana, Bulgaria. Here we go. But first, some breakfast from a local shop. So when I order food from the little bakery kiosks here in Bulgaria, I tend to take a picture of what it is I want to eat, show it to the cashier, and then just use my fingers to say if I want 1 or 2. So that's what I did this morning, and the sweet lady, bless her heart, she was really trying to teach me the name for whatever this thing is. I already forgot, so yeah. As I was waiting for a tram to take me to the train station, I spotted a sign that said Paradise, and I really could not help but see a bit of humor in seeing paradise on a building in such a state. I had been told by several tour guides and locals within Sofia to avoid taking a train within Bulgaria, but I was warned that if I did decide to take a train, just be ready for an experience in itself. I was able to get a round trip train ticket from Sofia to Montana for under $15 US. So I decided that riding a Bulgarian train was an adventure I did not want to miss. And is that a sign for bingo I see? I had really wanted to experience playing bingo while I was in Bulgaria, but unfortunately all of the bingo facilities seem to be more like casinos, and if I'm going to play bingo, it needs to be with a few dozen babushkas, otherwise I just have no interest. Seeing this antique carriage makes me feel like I'm back on the Isle of Man, except not really. As difficult as it was for me to navigate the Isle of Man, I would say it was significantly easier than trying to navigate the central train station in Sofia. I don't know if I was shocked or pleasantly surprised when the train pulled up and it was so old and covered in graffiti. I just loved its look. But it was becoming increasingly clear to me why my round trip ticket was so incredibly inexpensive. I just got on to my second train. This has been so stressful, but so thrilling at the same time. My first train ride was only about 15 minutes long. My third train ride is going to be about 15 minutes long, but this one is about 2.5 hours. So I feel like I can take a deep breath and relax. I've made it, and I'm gonna get there. Or am I? So I just had like a 5-minute conversation with the lady who works for the train line. She didn't speak any English. Obviously, I don't speak any Bulgarian. She said a few times, "Ticket okay," and when I showed her my ticket, but she kind of made it seem like there was some kind of problem. Of course, if there is in fact a problem, I don't know what it is. So we'll see. She just brought someone to me who speaks English to explain to me that I would have to get off this train and take another one to get to Montana. I know I'm blonde, but I did in fact know that I was gonna have another transfer. So yeah, crisis averted. Everyone who warned me that riding a Bulgarian train would be an adventure was absolutely right in the best way possible. And just check out this scenic view. I will say though that the train ride experience was a little bit shaky and it smelled a little bit like urine. And when I saw that the train carriage had a Turkish toilet combined with the shakiness of the ride, well, it's really no wonder that it smelled like piss. So I've been in Montana, Bulgaria for all of about 10 minutes. I wish it wasn't so painfully obvious that I'm a tourist, but it is. I knew in advance that Montana, Bulgaria did not get many tourists, so the curious looks were just something I had to take in stride. So I'm here to check into my hotel and there's no one here. So I called the phone number and the guy on the line said, "I'm sorry, could you speak English?" And I'm like, I am speaking English, and honestly, I thought my accent was quite clear. I usually speak pretty slowly, so I don't know. I did make a separate vlog all about my experience visiting Montana, Bulgaria, but because it was part of my 5th week in the country, I felt like it was important to at least incorporate a small bit of that content into my week 5 vlog. And I will say that when I saw my hotel room, I kind of got worried at first that I had booked a half bath that did not have a shower, but I realized that there was in fact some kind of shower setup. So I just stepped into this outdoor restaurant. I didn't even say anything and the server was like, hold on, and she went to go get an English speaking server, so I guess I don't even have to say anything. I just look like an English speaker, and some old ladies are staring at me. I'm just gonna assume it's because I'm beautiful. I found the whole, oh wait, let me go get an English speaking server thing to be especially comical because just a few hours earlier, I had been asked if I would speak English. Here we have what I assume is one of those cute little communist era kiosks. Montana, Bulgaria had what seemed like hundreds of these memorial notices that serve as both obituaries and also reminders of how long a family has been without a deceased family member. And it was very interesting to me how within Sofia, that was not something that I saw, but when I visited more rural towns and villages, like I said, you could see these notices by the dozens. One of the most interesting things to see and visit within Montana, Bulgaria is what's called Castrad Montanesium. And Castrad Montanesium is a grouping of Roman ruins. It's something that I really enjoyed getting to see during my time in Montana. After I checked into my hotel room, I took a little nap and grabbed some dinner. Now I'm enjoying an ice cream cone, and I walked over to this ancient fortress. It was only about an 8-minute walk from my hotel. So I figured I'd come over here, enjoy my ice cream cone, and watch the sunset. I do want to explore this ancient fortress a little bit more, but I think I will do that tomorrow and just enjoy the sunset for now. Exploring the ancient and ruined Roman fortress was in fact something I was able to do more of. But for now, I was just happy to have made it to Montana, and I cannot think of a better way to close out my 5th week of 10 in Bulgaria.